Isn't it hilarious that Mii Fighter reveals have become just as hype as character reveals in Smash Ultimate? When a character who nobody expects to make the game lands in as a surprise Mii Fighter costume, it's a nice way to augment and enhance the hype that comes along with character announcements. Heck, sometimes the Mii Fighters themselves are more hype than the characters. So in this video, I wanted to talk about 5 potential characters who I think would be perfect as Mii costumes. The primary requirements for this video are that the character align with other previous third-party Mii costume characters, being examples who were featured in some capacity on Switch, have recognizable design elements that could be easily split into a head and body for a Mii Fighter, and are not traditionally well suited to being characters in their own right, be it for their designs, potential movesets, or source games being too M-rated. Prepare to hear the word iconic a lot because we're going to be talking about some famous designs. That said, let's roll. One of my favorite parts about the current Mii Fighter lineup is how much it seems to celebrate indie games. With characters like Sans, Cuphead, and Travis, specifically his design from Travis Strikes Again, there's a clear intent on celebrating characters whose home series are less big budget than Smash's traditional fare, and very, very few indie games stand out to me as much as Hotline Miami. The series is well known for its over-the-top gore, but I honestly feel like its protagonist, Jacket, would make a perfect Mii Fighter costume. Make him a sword fighter, make his head the famous rooster mask, and make his body is trademark Letterman and jeans. As for the weapon, giving him a baseball bat or crowbar would be a perfect way to transfer Hotline Miami's signature insta-kill weapon combat to Smash. And please, Sakurai, please give him music. Carpenter Brute or Moon's tracks getting into Smash would be a dream come true. One thing that's always struck me as odd is the lack of significant Resident Evil representation in Smash. Also, come on, I'm Teal Opal, I can't go a video without talking about Resident Evil. Sure, the series is dark and filled with grisly imagery and content, but it's also had a ton of history on Nintendo's platforms all the way back to the N64, and has lots of iconic characters and designs. And while I'd love to see Wesker or Nemesis as a full-fledged character like in Marvel 3, I think the more realistic option would be a Mii Fighter. And who better for that position than Stars' own master of unlocking, Jill Valentine. Specifically, her iconic RE1 beret design that's featured on her spirit. Jill is one of the most important characters, not just in RE, but in gaming in general, being a strong, badass female protagonist with history galore. As a Mii costume, I think adding her beret and hair as a Mii hat and her full uniform as a body would be nice, and giving her costume her exclusive grenade launcher from Resident Evil 1 as a gunner would wrap things up nicely. Surely a good way to show your enemy stars. With Dark Souls Remastered releasing on Switch, I think we're primed for some representation from the iconic series in Smash. There are loads of iconic designs and armor sets to draw from, and the series' extensive lineup of bosses, classes, NPCs, and ordinary enemies make it a rich tapestry to draw from for a potential Mii costume. That said though, out of all of them, I think we have to go with the most basic and iconic choice, Solaire of Astora. He's a fan favorite in his home series for a reason, what with his pleasant attitude and incredibly helpful presence as a summon during boss fights, and he even got his own amiibo to celebrate the release of his home game on Switch. His own incredibly expensive and rare amiibo. As a Mii Fighter, I think it's obvious. He'd have his Iron and Sunset complete with his helmet and iconic armor, and would be a sword fighter who uses his signature Sunlight Straight Sword. Letting this iconic knight spread his fate in Smash should be a far better fate than what potentially befalls him in his home game anyways. Remember, praise the sun. Another widely recognized and celebrated M-rated series that eventually made the jump to Switch is BioShock. The series is rich with notable characters and symbolism, and also presents us with one of the coolest mascot designs of any game, the famous little sister guarding Big Daddies. Now, a Big Daddy costume might look a bit weird considering the creature's proportions compared to that of a typical Mii Fighter, but it really never stopped them before. Give the costume Big Daddy's helmet and diving suit as a head and body, and make it a brawler using his signature drill arm as a means of attack. Even if he has no little sisters to protect, I think Mr. Bubbles would make an excellent addition to Smash's lineup of costumes. Would also save him from the hellscape known as PlayStation All-Stars Battle Royale, so there's that too. I wonder if anyone's gonna get mad at me for making fun of PlayStation All-Stars Battle Royale on YouTube in 2020. And as one last character to discuss for this video, let's transition away from M-rated AAA games and focus on something a bit smaller scale and closer to home for Nintendo. We all know Crypt of the Necrodancer, right? The rhythm-based roguelike with an emphasis on music? Well, that game just so happened to recently cross over with the Legend of Zelda series and the amazing Cadence of Hyrule. As such, I think giving the main character Cadence a bit of representation in Smash would be a perfect fit. Making her a sword fighter wielding a great shovel as her primary means of attack would allow her to slide seamlessly into Smash Bros.' aesthetic aesthetic. Out of every character on this list, I'm honestly surprised the most that Cadence isn't represented in Smash in any way, so I think this would be a great way to do her justice. Nintendo certainly seems to like her anyways, and it would help push the new and recently released physical version of Cadence of Hyrule, which I think would be a nice boost for anything. And there we have it. I initially planned to talk about 10 characters for this video rather than just 5, but I ended up cutting it in half to keep the render time down, and because the script was getting a little bit repetitive the longer it went on. Regardless, if you want to see a part 2, let me know, and I hope y'all have a fantastic day before, during, and after watching. Let me know your Mii Fighter ideas in the comments below, and cheers.